Howdy folks, we should be live, and we're going to start off the day with some coaching of longtime viewer Dylan, aka Black Skull. Let me switch into my Eirias account on YouTube and make sure the stream is working. It does appear to be working. I think so. And so we're going to start with a replay from one of Black Skull's games. He might join me on voice, not quite sure yet. And then yeah, we'll add him to the call. Hi, Dylan or Black Skull. I'm not sure which name you prefer. Doesn't matter. All right. And I think I need to, let's see, change my properties here for the audio. All right. Would you go ahead and say something?
Hello?
All right. So hopefully that should be working, and the stream can hear both of us. I don't think there's any viewers yet, so we'll know, I guess, halfway through whenever someone comes online and says if they can hear us or not.
Yep.
So let's go and take a look at your game. Hi, Glorok. Can you hear Black Skull?
I do not think they can hear me.
You don't think so?
Yeah, they can. I can hear myself.
Okay, great. Okay, awesome. We can hear us both then. Then how about we take a look at this game? So you can see my screen, right, Dylan?
On Discord?
Or
on the stream?
Yeah, on the stream, actually. It might be...
I'm watching your stream.
Alright, watching the stream sounds great. So it might be a small delay, but hopefully
right.
We can get this... Alright, it's you versus King Jester. He is Frost, and you are starting Nature. Alright.
And in my defense, I had played Fire all night.
Alright.
And he was like, he said something about me not doing good, and I was like, alright, I'll play my normal and see how I do. So I played Nature.
Alright.
I did better, but I don't know. I feel like this is the one game he didn't like go like 3 wells up off rip.
Okay. So right now, comment for you is that you've got the Swifter unit. So I would say you should try to take a little bit more map control, right? Try and maybe get an aggressive position kind of down here.
Right.
And you've played...
and I do, and that's what I do right after, right here next.
Okay.
So I push into that down there.
Okay. Yeah, he has... So right now you've played a good 200 power more than he's played, which is kind of dangerous to be so far away, because he could potentially go instant tier 2, and then your power is kind of wasted. We'll see what he's doing. Yeah, exactly. That's what he's doing. He's going instant tier 2. So I think for you, a really good strategy here would be to try to gain map control and maybe try and stay tier 1. And that's a kind of hard thing to do, but...
That's essentially what I did.
Okay. But yeah, I just want to point out that...
I pushed up to where he's at right now, and I stayed tier 1 for as long as I could,
Okay.
And then I tried to push tier 2, and I couldn't do it.
Okay. We'll watch the replay, but just, I guess a small strategic improvement for you is building all these units. I would try to build them when you get a little bit closer, because him going to...
fighting, even if they're going to be fighting dazed? Or are you just saying, like, wait till I get up there and continue moving while I build them there? So they're just coming out of daze when the fight starts.
Yeah, kind of coming out of daze, and I would say basically you want to be a little bit worried. Like, you're playing all these units and he's playing nothing, right? which means that
Right.
he can go tier 2 and you're so far away that you can't really threaten him, right? Usually the point of playing units is you can threaten him with something. Um, so you should be in a position where, like, if you build units and he doesn't, you're going to kill him. So you, like, basically are close enough that you force him to build units at the same time that you build units. In this situation, because you built your units way in advance, he didn't have to build units at the same time as you, and he could just save his power to go tier 2. Now, I don't think you're necessarily bad, but if you had been in a different position, him going tier 2, you could have just killed this tier 2 right off the bat if you're a little bit closer. And so you can see right now, based on the score, a score is a good way to tell how much power has been spent, that even though he's going tier 2, you've spent another still, 150 power, or almost 200 power more than he spent. So he's got power to play, like, basically 2 War Eagles. So you got to be careful about that.
I think that's why I was kind of worried about just running straight in this, because I knew he would just drop, like, even before his tier 2. I was debating on, like, it was done. I was debating on just rushing in as soon as he made it. But then I knew he had so much power, he could just drop a bunch of tier 1 units on my head.
Yeah, well, you're not really scared about him dropping tier 1 units on his head, right? Because if he's invested the power to go tier 2, you want him to drop tier 1 units, right? Because every tier 1 unit he plays, his power he's not going to spend on a tier 2 unit. And tier 2 units are just more valuable.
Right.
So that's another reason why being in a little more aggressive position would kind of force him to play some tier 1 units, and that's units that he can't play in tier 2. So yeah, right now you're still fine. I think you probably can rush this, but it's a very micro-intensive rush. I think the safer way to play this would be to try and grab this well here, stay +1 well, and try and defend it. Hi, Bird. The second voice you're hearing is Dylan, aka Black Skull, and we're doing some coaching for one of his games. Right now, the situation is that Dylan has played a whole bunch of tier 1 units, and his opponent has played just the single tier 1 unit and gone instant tier 2. And so it looks like you're trying to go, one little micro point here is you see how your Swift Claw is way far away from the rest of your units? This is allowing him to get a really good trade here. If you were, if your rest of your units
I think that's why I initially had turned him back, and then I was like,
Yeah,
I don't know why I let him go straight forward again.
Yeah.
So I thought they would catch up with that turn back, and they did.
Yeah. But yeah, just a point for maybe other viewers who are not quite sure. Having your units together meant that if he did that, then you would just kill his light blade. But since he's a little bit far away, he's going to get a lot better trades than if you had kind of let them be a little bit closer.
Right.
Your opponent has the wrong Spirit Hunters.
Does he?
Yeah. So this purple Spirit Hunters only does 25 damage per second, and the green one does 30 damage per second.
Purple one.
So the green one is good because it does piercing damage, but that's only good in a couple matchups. So I would say that unless you know exactly what your opponent is playing, I would go for the green one instead. Bird is complaining that we've never been on voice. Well, I don't know, Bird. It's not that hard. You message me and say, hey, let's go on voice. Dylan got our first try. I want to point out the second thing here from your opponent is that he's playing 2 Spirit Hunters. So Dylan, pop quiz for you. Why is it bad that he's played 2 Spirit Hunters?
Because I'm going to hurricane him.
That's one reason. And that is a very good reason. Out of principle, though.
And another reason is because the damage is more so for a micro damage to hit one unit, hit another unit, so you can spread out the poison.
Exactly.
They only do 4 damage a hit.
Right, exactly. So Spirit Hunters do very tiny amount of damage in terms of the regular shot. Almost all the damage is their 25 per second. So having this poison doesn't stack with itself, right? So if you hit 2 units with the same Spirit Hunter, you're increasing the damage by like 10%. So you don't really want to like play a whole nother unit just for a 10% extra damage.
Because the poison still only does 25.
Exactly. So I would say that he should play his, play 1 Spirit Hunter is very good. Tons of value from 1 Spirit Hunters. Second should be some other card, like a
If he micros it right.
Yeah, I mean, even if he micros it right, like he's not getting that much advantage for having 2 Spirit Hunters. And
I'm
then, as you
saying, no,
said,
you said one Spirit Hunter is a vantage point, but I said if he micros it right.
yeah, exactly. But I mean,
Because
even if you don't
he
micro it
just
right,
lets it stay on one person.
yeah, one Spirit Hunter does decent damage. If you don't micro it, it's not as good as other options, but it's still like decent. One Spirit
Right.
Hunter should be about as good as one Wind Weaver in a 1v1 fight.
Okay.
Um, but then, of course, if you like have one Spirit Hunter versus 3 Wind Weavers, the Spirit Hunter can kill them all, assuming it doesn't die in the meantime. But you've got your Wind Hunters
Right.
here, so these guys should die pretty fast, and especially with the Hurricane. So there we go, very nice Hurricane. And he's got a strong freeze on you. You got some power. I would say you should probably be making like Shaman in the back to start healing some guys up. And here's a micro tip for you, Dylan. If you press F on the keyboard, that's this halt command. No, it's this one. If you press F, your unit will stop attacking. And so your Shaman, you can have better micro if you tell your Shaman to attack somebody, and then you press F, and he'll like do one shot attack, and then one shot he'll stop attacking, and he'll just heal somebody. So
Okay.
it's a kind of quick way to heal if you don't want to like click on your unit and click on who you want to heal. You just like click on your Shaman and press F, and he'll stop in place and heal whoever he thinks he should heal.
Okay, I would never knew that. I always clicked him and then clicked a unit.
Yeah, exactly. And so just try and point out these micro things. It makes things a lot easier when you can do something like that. And yeah, so I've observed you've got a lot of power here. So I think having like a Shaman just in the back here, so he can't really reach it, you can get a lot of healing value if you just kind of played some stuff.
Yeah, I think I went with a Dryad.
Okay. And you should probably heal, yeah. So you gotta heal, right? But if you had been
I might have healed. Yeah, I might have healed.
Heal, not a bad option, just, slightly more optimal if you had maybe played a Shaman in the back, and that way your Shaman can less damage at once, but more damage over time.
Right.
So yeah, it's kind of like a, I don't know if you play chess, but there's a famous saying in chess, it's like when you see a good move, look for a better move. And so that's kind of like the better move I want to point out, that healing is good, you get a little more value with a Shaman in the back.
See, and like right there where my Shaman walked all the way back and then walked all the way back forward, that was because I micro him with my hand.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
Clicking and yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, just a quick, if you
So
push
he
F,
walked
you
and
can...
then I had to re-click him.
Exactly, yeah. Pushing F will help a lot of those mistakes. How's your opponent's power? Your opponent's doing a good job playing right at the power limit. And yeah, again, that heal was a little bit less optimal. He doesn't have like a hurricane, or not hurricane, he doesn't have any kind of explosion. So you don't, you can kind of play risky and wait till your units have low health. Against fire, you definitely want to be keeping your units at full health because he can like lava field or something and kill everybody. But against Stonekin, you can let your units get low health and just kind of heal them slowly with a Shaman. So that's kind of what I would say is like, you would get a lot more value if you had a couple more Shamans instead of spending power on these heals. But yeah, overall, you're still in a solid position. Yeah, just kind of like, that heal is, at this point you've played like 3 heals, right? Instead, if you had 3 Shamans, your units would still be alive and you'd have a much bigger army right now.
Right.
So it's just kind of like the little things I want to point out. Again, nature is a super complicated tier 1, so trying to be a little nitpicky. It's probably a lot for someone to digest if they haven't been playing for a long time, but just trying to point these things out. Give you too much at once, and then hopefully some of it sticks, and then next time you get too much it sticks, and over time stuff will stick. Hopefully. And your opponent is playing tier 1 units. Yeah, that looked like a slight miss micro. I would definitely try to back up. And it looks like you might be killing as well. Yeah, the well. Okay, you managed to get the well healed up in time. Oh, you're attacking the orb. That's yeah. So this right now, I think, is just a little bit of.
Did I attack the orb for a second?
Yeah, your Dryad was attacking the orb, and your guys were standing kind of close.
Yep, she is. Yeah, I see it. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. One thing you could have done is you could have like rooted him and taken one step back, and that way he can't hit you at all, and you can shoot him. So I would say
I started doing that like right after this. And I
Yeah.
don't know why I didn't
Okay.
do it earlier. It just never dawned on me. I don't know why.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's fine. You're new. It's you're not gonna think of these
I
things in
think
the
it was
first.
just because the Ice Guardians didn't come out till just around now.
Okay. Yeah, just trying to put these out so next time you think of it faster, right? Because I'm
Right.
sure you got the right idea. Just you maybe not have it as fast as you had if you had a
Yeah,
little bit
I'm a
more
little
experience.
slow on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dryad is pretty annoying in terms of micro. So yeah, at just one point, your Dryad, you want to walk her behind so that they're not being attacked. And then Dryad is kind of annoying because if you click on a building and she's in her sleep mode, she'll just walk straight up to the building. So
Yeah, I've
she'll
noticed that.
yeah, because it's just the way the attack works. If she can't attack, it thinks she's supposed to walk there. So
Right.
yeah, there you go. That's a good position. And I would put your Dryads into the attack mode to try and get some damage down.
See, and then this is me missing my micros by clicking the floor. And
Yeah, exactly
missing
right. It's
clicking them.
yeah. I said it before and I'll say it again. I think nature is the tier 1 with the most intensive micro. So if you're um, I
Yeah, I
personally
miss
would
a
not
lot of
recommend it as a
clicks.
beginner unless you're like from a different game and you're really confident in your micro. I'd say start with a faction that has a little bit easier micro and then move into nature a little bit later. My 2 cents. But, if you're in love with nature, you can certainly play nature. Just you're going to make some micro fails
I
like this in the
enjoyed
beginning.
fire today.
Mhm.
I did enjoy fire today. That's why I
Okay.
said I would like to get a couple games of fire in
For
with me.
sure, for sure. Yeah, and fire is my forte, let's say. Well, one of them.
Right.
Bird's super good at fire. Bird's on the call.
Is
Yeah,
he?
Bird, if you want to
I
hop in the
thought he
game.
was Shadow.
Mhm. Yeah, I would do a little, try and focus one unit down. So, yeah, generally you want to focus one unit down all the way and then get the other. And your opponent is still playing tier 1 units, so he's not getting much advantage off his tier 2.
Right. I think he's doing that just to play his power limit.
Okay.
That was the only thing I could imagine.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't have a very big tier 2. Maybe he's got a giant tier 1. But if he'd been playing things like Stone, or
Well,
not Stone.
he starts pulling tier 2 out eventually. But
Okay, okay.
I don't know. It was weird.
All right. Maybe he's also new and he just kind of didn't know what the right counter was. And so he just figured, like, I know the tier 1 units.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe that's the
Yeah.
situation.
Because
But yeah,
he
right
did
now.
enjoy using frost mages a lot.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, right now you are in a great position. I would definitely go for some more shamans instead of some of these heals. But you've got a big unit count and you're trading well. So this can totally all fall apart. I don't want to say you're one, but you're in a good position. If I had to play one of the two of you right now, I'd rather take your position. And yeah, so you got a good freeze. You could play like a shaman right now instead of a dryad. If you played a shaman, you could heal a bunch of these guys up just kind of passively.
Right.
And I want to point out that you made a good trade, right? Because a root is a lot cheaper than a cold snap. So yeah, overall your trading is pretty solid. And if you're, running back is fine. I just also want to mention that right now your advantage comes from the fact that he spent an extra 150 power building his monument. So you basically just have extra units. But overall, you both have one well, so there's no permanent advantage going one way or the other.
Right.
You might want to think about, I'm not saying this is the right move, there's different styles, you can be more aggressive or more passive, but another option is that when you've got this unit locked and you feel like you're safe against defending, right? Because he's got some kind of defensive units. So these are not super dangerous that he could attack you with. You could try taking a well back here and then you'd have an extra well and at that point you can play passive, right? It's like as long as you stay alive, you're getting an advantage over time. At this point, nobody's
Right.
gaining advantage because you both had the exact same number of wells.
I see what you're
Yeah.
saying there. That makes sense.
But he keeps playing his tier 1 units, so you should be trading super well. As a good focus fire, I'd maybe put one of those dryads on attack mode. And at this point, the power level is getting kind of high. Yeah, so you play him dazed, he should focus him out. I would kind of like pull him back so he doesn't die before he gets out of dazed. Yeah, so that's the mantra I keep telling people is you don't want to get stuff too dazed. And also you can see how the Spirit Hunter is hitting everybody. He's getting a lot of value on hitting these different units. So there, that guy dies. I think that guy's actually going to live, so that's okay. That heal there was kind of unnecessary, right? You basically healed for one unit. If you had just taken your time, built another shaman, you could have healed him up using micro instead of an 80 power heal. Looks like you're trying to go for a tier 2 yourself, or maybe just to grab a well. Okay, tier 2 yourself. That's a solid map control. I would, I want to point something out. Looks like you're backing away here, and he's coming up. You really would like to fight him in the choke point, because it's hard for him to get to the choke point, right? You can Hurricane, you can root. He can't spread out at the choke point, but you can. So this is a really advantageous spot for you to fight. So I would try to not give up this ground. You know, try and make a circle like this, so that all of your units kind of just snipe him as soon as he comes through that choke point. And I would definitely root and, yeah, there you go. Nice root, you got it. And see, you root, he freezes. It's still kind of like a small advantage for you because the freeze is more expensive than the root. I do want to point out something.
Does freeze last longer?
What's that?
Does the freeze last longer than the root?
Oh, the freeze. Freeze is 20 seconds. Root, I'm not sure if it's 15 or 20. So the freeze might last longer. The freeze does last longer than an oink.
Yeah. Oh.
I also want to point out one more thing that I'm a little bit worried for you. Can you guess why?
15 seconds is a root.
Oh, 15 seconds. Okay, yeah. So freeze is a little bit longer than a root.
Right. Yep.
Can you guess why I would be a little concerned for you right now? Like strategically wise.
I'm thinking. I'm not exactly sure.
Okay, yeah. So the reason I'd be a little bit concerned for you in terms of strategy is you got a lot of tier 1 units.
Okay, well, yeah, I get that.
Yeah, so the tier 1 units, it's good to have a lot of units. I don't want to say it's bad, but it means that you don't have a lot of power. So if we look at his, he's got, he's got kind of similar power as you, but he's got a lot of tier 2 units, right?
He has way more tier units on the field, right?
Exactly, yeah. So if you micro this well, you're totally fine, and you're definitely in good position. I don't want to say that you're not, but that's one of the things that could be really dangerous. For example, you've got, I don't know, 700 power, not quite 700, but maybe 500 power in tier 1 units right now, right? So what do you do if he roots you and just runs around and attacks you over here?
Man, unless this is where it went downhill.
Okay. Maybe that's exactly what happened. But yeah, so I'm just telling you that right now that's a very dangerous position for you to be in because your whole army is in one spot. If he like roots you, then he just gets a ton of time, and you're not going to have any power to defend if he attacks you another base. Now, there's things you can do, right? You could launch a counterattack, is what I'd recommend in that situation. But it's just something to be aware of. That like you've got 100. You know, do you know about the void power?
Right. Yeah.
So your total power pool is like, let's say 600 power. If we add 380 plus 122, it's no, it's about 500 power. So in total, you got about 500 power, and right now you've got like 500 power in units. So about half of the total power you could ever access at once is right here. So it's just not necessarily a bad thing, but it's something you need to be careful of. That if all your power is in one spot, he could leverage it and attack you on a different spot where your power isn't.
Right.
And that's something for you to be aware of too, right? If you notice that he's got half of his power in one spot, you can try and attack him at a different spot. And I think in some of the games we played last time you were on stream, I think you did a good job of that with your burrow attacks. You noticed that they had a lot of power bound in one spot, and you would go attack somewhere else.
Yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying.
Okay. Oink into root. A small... Do you know about how CC chains work?
Like, what do you mean?
So
Do I know
basically,
the teaching marks?
uh, CC is like any crowd control. So root, oink, freeze.
Well, yeah, I knew that.
Okay, okay. So when you put two CCs, you see how the root, there's like this cooldown where you can't root him again?
Yeah.
And then there's the oink, right?
Right.
So,
Like you're saying, I should wait till the root's all the way down to oink.
well, it's if you put a second CC while a previous one is still active, the second one will only last half as long.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a
Okay.
thing people a lot of times don't know. So if you had waited like 2 more seconds to oink after the root, then you would get maybe like
Then I'd still get
5 seconds
full.
extra on the oink. So just a small thing like that it's not that hard to do. You just don't know.
You know, I wonder, that must be why he kept freezing me, and I would kept getting unfreezed so quick.
Okay, yeah.
He would cold snap me, and then I would get unfreezed in like 4 seconds. And I was
Okay.
like, what is going on? You can see me in the chat. Well, you guys can't.
Yeah, yeah.
But I typed in the chat, like, what is going on, bro?
Okay. Yeah, if you like freeze oink, at some point you're going to be frozen for like 2 seconds. Um,
Right. Yep, that makes sense now.
yeah, so you can see he came out of oink pretty fast because the root was still active.
Right, yeah.
Also, a very small thing that what I told you was like a mid-level tip. Even higher level tip is that root, for some reason, is immune to that CC stack. So if you root and then oink, your oink will last half as long. If you oink and then root, the root will always last the same amount of time.
Okay.
So it's just kind of weird thing. I'm not sure why it is, but that's how it
Right.
is.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
You got it paralyzed, yeah. And he's yeah. So he was able to brute force you just a little bit there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, just one of the things is because your units were all bound to tier 1, and not only tier 1, they're kind of small units, so he was basically able to gain a lot of CC, or a lot of tempo by CCing your units, because they're all bound to one spot. So
Right.
that's just, the thing to be careful of. I think there may have been ways to avoid it. For example, if you had been fighting over here in the choke point, he wouldn't have been able to attack your orb. He'd have to kill your units, and you want him to kill your tier
Right,
1
I
units,
see.
right? You want him to, maybe he spends one of his tier 1 let's say he spends one of his units to kill 2 of your tier 1 units, right? Like, it's not a great trade to have 1 for 2, but you're kind of getting rid of your tier 1 units, and you're getting something for them, right? In this case, you're spending 2 of your tier 1 units to get 1 of his tier 2 units. So that's a kind of a,
Right.
by the time you have tier 2, you kind of want to get your power at tier 1. You just stop binding it in tier 1 and get into tier 2 stuff. I've even seen some players in the situation where you were, they would just kill their whole tier 1 army so they can get power for tier 2. I don't personally advocate that, but I've seen people do it.
I was gonna say, I do that in PvE, but I wouldn't do that. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't think that was a viable
Yeah,
option.
exactly. Again, I've seen people do it. In this case, I wouldn't do it, but I would try to aggressively
Right.
force him to trade his tier 2 units for your tier 1 units, so that way you can start making your own tier 2 units. And yeah,
Right,
he was
okay.
able to focus your orb, and now this is a worse position for you. Maybe not lost, but definitely things are going downhill, and you should probably be building your
Yeah,
tier 2
at this
again.
point, I kind of figured it was game,
Okay,
but I didn't want to just quit it.
okay. And yeah, again, I wouldn't invest your power healing your tier 1 units, because ideally you want to get tier 2, so just let your tier 1 units die, get what you can for them, but at the end of the day, you kind of want to get rid of your tier 1 units anyway, so you don't need to spend more power keeping them alive.
Okay. Yep, that makes sense.
Alright, he's freezing again.
Even though I just lost my tier 2?
Was that?
Even though I just lost my tier 2, though?
Yeah, but hopefully you rebuild your right.
I'm
If you
gonna retake. Right.
yeah, if you hadn't healed, you could have retaken your tier 2 back here and been in a better position. And yeah, so right now we're gonna see is that he is building his units to come hit you, and your units are way slower, so you're not gonna catch him. What I would say the best situation for you to do is to take the shorter path and come attack him here, and that way he can't spend so much tower attacking you. But yeah, if you run after him, you're just going to be slower than him, and you're going to be just behind the whole game. At some extent, there's nothing you can do about it. But the route was good. You got one burrower off the route. But now if you
Right. Well,
chase
I
him,
got two, but
yeah,
well, yeah, I did get one because the other one got out,
yeah, exactly. And so
and
now
he made another one.
you
Yeah.
got the power you could have tier 2'd. You're tier 2ing here, that's fine. Okay, and you're not chasing him. Um, you're probably going to lose this well. But if you get your guys to attack here, right? Like right now, your guys are binding 500 power and they're not doing anything. So he's free to spend his power over here. If you had been attacking,
Right.
then he's going to have to defend and he can't spend his power like building stuff this way. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but no, at this point, your opponent's doing a really good burrower rush. And it's just a tough position for you. So he's at this point, I would say that he has won, and you're both kind
Yeah.
of new, so it's games can turn around at your level in a way that they wouldn't really turn around at mine. But at my level, this is you wouldn't feel bad about quitting at this point.
And yeah, I mean, I probably would have quit at this point already,
Okay.
but we was just playing, just to play.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah. And
we had agreed just to practice. I mean, I don't know how new he was. He said he wasn't as new as me.
okay,
So I mean, I don't know how new he was. But
gotcha.
yeah, he just said he needed some practice too. So.
Okay, well, yeah, and yeah, he definitely should play the. He should have played these guys earlier, but yeah. So he's doing a good job at this point. So yeah, I hope that was helpful for you. We can go ahead and kind of go double speed through the rest of this fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we can see if you managed to knock anything out. Oh, you defended up here. That's good. And he's freezing. You got the parasite.
And I just find Frost so hard. Like Frost really is my hardest thing. I think.
Okay, okay.
To go against. I really do.
Yeah, so nice job making the attack. I would really try to focus your units a little bit more so they don't get out of, especially when you're playing against nature. He can heal if you have like a whole bunch of units at half health, so you want to really try and kill the units as soon as possible.
Right.
We also got this unit chilling over here. I totally forget units all the time. Just, try and point out when I see it. Nice root, nice parasite.
I don't even think I knew he was sitting over there.
You're doing a pretty good defense, yeah. If you intercept the burrower, that'd be not bad. Looks like he forgot about his guy and let him walk past you. Okay, yeah. And he's got a ton of power.
Yeah, for sure. That's when I kind of said it was over.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, thanks for sharing that game with us, Dylan. I hope this was helpful for you. And if you want to practice some fire, we absolutely can do that.
Yeah, we'll run a couple games.
So I have an idea here. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the center and I'm going to grab a well as fast as I can. And so then what you should try to do is to attack me in a situation where I technically have lost. And depending on your micro, you may or may not be able to attack me, but...
So let me just ask, there was a few questions I wanted to ask you
For
before
sure.
I started. I know one of them was just to make sure I'm right, but you pretty much just confirmed it, but I want to just make sure. So in theory, as fire, since I'm not running nature anymore, as fire, if my opponent takes a well off rip and I don't, and I rush him, I should, if I micro it right, I should win, right?
It depends on the map. So
Okay,
let's go
that's
with the map, and we
understandable,
can
yeah.
just say it one at a time. So Elion, if your opponent takes a well, and your opponent is not Frost, you can rush them always. If you have good micro, right? If
Frost is the hardest to rush,
Frost
right?
is definitely the hardest to rush. Not
And
that
I
it can't be
always
done.
thought that's why I had so much issues
Mhm.
with, like, 'cause that's why the whole time I played Fire today, that's all he played was Frost.
Okay, okay. Yeah. The rush with Frost is a little bit non-standard, and it can be done. Actually, if you watch my last stream, there was a game I played versus Mr. JJ, and I showed you basically how to rush Frost, and it's a pretty non-standard method. Um, Fire and Shadow are very, very similar. So if there's a strategy that works for Fire, it probably also works for Shadow, and vice versa. So yeah, on Elyon, if your opponent takes a well and you have not, you can rush them for sure.
Okay.
On Halidr, the first well is usually safe. I have seen people rush the well, but it usually takes them 5 minutes to rush it, and by that point the well is paid for
Right,
itself. So I
right.
Halidr, the well is safe. You don't have to worry about it.
'Cause it's just
Lajash,
such a big map.
yeah, Lajash, the well is rushable, although it's harder than on Elyon. I
Okay.
frequently fail to rush the well on Lajash. I used to practice
Okay.
this with somebody. He'd take a well, I'd try and rush him. I'd like only get it half the time. Semi,
Mhm.
sorry. Oh,
What'd you say?
I thought you said something. Never mind. Um,
Oh no, I laughed.
okay, okay, yeah. On semi, the well is also rushable, um, unless you take the very first well, because there's this choke point. But if you take any of the other wells before your opponent, then it is also rushable. Uro, the first well is not rushable because it's a giant map. And on Eirias, the first well is also rushable because it's a small map. So in general, basically the farther apart the wells, the easier it is to survive being plus one well.
Right.
So on a
Right.
small map like Elyon, if I go right for the center, um, it's a guaranteed rush.
Okay, but but no matter what if they go +2, regardless of the map?
Oh
That's
yeah,
too
plus
much, right?
two, you should just murder them.
Right,
uh,
that's what I was thinking.
yeah,
Cause
now
that
plus.
dude today was going +2, and I think he even went +3 one game. I
All
forgot
right,
to save him again though.
you're gonna have to show me
But
those
I mean,
replays.
he was obviously more experienced than I was.
Okay. Now,
I
going
mean,
plus
it was.
two is fine if you've already won, right? But in a situation where you're totally even, plus two should be death.
You know how like I'm so passive a lot of times I'll just sit back like I just sit back and wait and watch what they do. Like
Mhm.
he would take one and then he would start running to the next one. So I'd start running towards him and
Mhm.
as I'd ran towards him I would make a troop or two.
Okay.
And he'd take a second one and then I would just commit and he'd still somehow wreck me.
Okay.
But it had to have been my micro, I would imagine.
All right. Well, yeah. If you got one of those replays, you can share us, and we can totally look
But
and see.
after I started spamming Fire Sworns, I think, because he played Frost the whole time.
Okay.
And after I started spamming Fire Sworn, I started doing a little better, but
Okay.
he was just better than, like, he just played more than me, I think.
All right. So you're gonna
Oh,
make a unit,
shit.
and you wanna come.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, yeah. No worries. It's fine if you're not, exactly as fast as possible. So I'm gonna take this
Yeah, we
well,
got to talking.
and then uh, I should not be able to defend this. Let's see your first attempt. Let's see you do it without Nico Ching, and then we'll see what you could do
You're
a little bit
running
better.
Fire too?
I'm playing fire. Yeah, I can play a different color if you prefer.
No, I don't care.
All right. So how much power do you have? Okay.
Way too much.
Way too much power. Yeah. So despite the fact that you've got a lot more power than me,
Damn, I missed that? There's no
um,
way.
yeah, I was a little bit far. Yeah. So despite the fact that you have more power than me, you didn't play all your power. So basically, I had more units than you the whole time. So of course, I'm gonna win the fight if I have more units than you.
Right, so I don't really know the units of Fire, to be
Okay.
honest. Like I said, like in that scenario, I was gonna lay down thugs, but every time I watch you guys play Fire, everyone says thugs are terrible.
Thugs are not terrible. I don't.
So I don't want to use like every game today. I don't think I used thugs one time.
Yeah, I play my regular deck without thugs, so you can totally play without thugs. Um,
And just looking at it, I wouldn't think Sunstriders are good against Sunstriders. Scavengers could be, I suppose.
Yeah, so Sunstriders and
That's not
Scavengers are
main
both good against each
scavengers.
other. I think you know this, but just for players who don't know this, in case, the unit, the letter here, so small, is the counter damage. So a Scavenger
Right.
does plus 50% damage against small units, and
Yep.
Sunstrider does 50% damage against medium units. So that's kind of like the counter system. So Scavengers and
So,
Mhm.
can I ask you something that I don't know? Cause
Yeah.
like that is something that I knew, but
Uh-huh.
like, so what about the ones that have like stars
Oh,
instead
that
of
means they don't do
the
any
letter
bonus
there?
damage. Um,
Okay,
yeah.
I was curious about that.
Yeah, so it's like a special damage type. So in the case of giants, in the case of Firesworn, the special damage is against large units, but it's like
Right.
way extra against large units. It's 150%, not the typical 50%. And then Sunder's
Okay, and then like fire dancers against is the siege against structures.
exactly against buildings, right? So the
Right. Okay.
star means they don't do extra damage against any particular unit type, or it could be like a special one, like a Firesworn, where it's a special ability.
Right.
If the Firesworn,
All right. We can reset to the next game if you
yeah,
want, so we
sure.
can actually start.
Yeah.
But I gotta answer this phone call
Oh,
real
no
quick.
worries. Bird, are you
Hello.
still watching on stream?
All right, I'm back.
All right. Let's give Bird a second to see if he wants to hop on and demonstrate how to perform this rush.
Yep. And I mean, let me message dude and see if he would like to join.
Okay, Bird's in a different game.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, all right. So
We
we'll,
can just run out.
if you want, you can try. How about do you want to try you taking the extra well, and you can watch what I do?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, yeah. So let's do that. So I'll let's go back to that map. So this time you're definitely going to lose, but just try and pay attention to what I'm doing.
But you still want me to defend it as best as I would.
Yeah, defend as best as you can, right? Go for the eruptions,
Right.
but it's impossible for you to win this unless I screw up.
Right. No, I know. Yeah, I know. Why does Scavenger take so long to come?
I know, I hate it. I don't know why. Yeah, I'll give you a second to...
I feel like I'm a little behind you too. I don't know why. Because I dropped as soon as I loaded.
Yes, you see, the first thing I'm doing is I'm playing my units a little ahead of time. So they're going to be out of days by the time we get to some fight.
Right.
And then I'm going to play one of my guys. I'm going to be just a little bit patient. I'm going to throw one of my guys down here. I'm going to get another guy going around here. I'm going to try and get a nice spread so you can't eruption me that easily.
Mm-hmm.
Get another guy over here. And now I'll attack, but I've got more units than you. And I've got... I'll try and make sure that I'm always playing more units. So every time I've got 2 units attacking one of yours, and I'm just going to trade you out better, right? Yeah, you can get an eruption, but like it's not that significant. And now I've got 4
Right.
units. So anytime you play a unit, I'm just going to focus him down, and he's going to be dead. And I'm just trying to make sure I'm spreading to avoid an eruption. And I'm just going to surround you, snipe your units as soon as you play them. And that's
So
kind
at
of
this point, is it smart enough just to give the well and
exactly, yeah.
go back to your base?
Yeah, you don't, I mean, right, every time you play a unit, it's just going to die and not accomplish anything, right? Like,
Right.
maybe you play 5 units and you'll eventually kill my one guy. But, I could even play more units if I wanted.
Right.
So this is basically the situation you're going for, right? This is why taking +1 is so bad. Because I can play extra units and just trade better. So that's the idea we're going for. So now
Gotcha.
let's see your try. And I don't want to say it's like super easy, but the only 3 cards you need are Scavenger, Sunstrider, and Eruption. And Eruption is debatable.
And I'm just so used to, at this point, playing with a deck that can heal and
I see,
stuff
yeah.
like that. It's just different.
Yeah. But I think it's good because I think.
I'm just like sitting here watching them die, and I'm like, God damn. Man.
Yeah. Because I'm watching your games and I can see that like having the heal is making you kind of lazy, right? Because you could micro a little bit and save your unit. But instead you're being kind of lazy and just like heal. I've got free heal, so I'm going to use it. So I think that's one of the reasons why it's good to play a bunch of different colors so you don't fall into crutches like that. And like same with me, I tend to save my power and wait for an eruption. And when you take away my eruption, it's not so good. Now you guys are kind of close. You got to be careful. So I'm just going to eruption here. And
damn, was they still dazed?
yeah, they were still dazed.
Oh, okay.
So you should still have more power than me. But
oh yeah.
I can fight undazed units, so my damage is going to be a little bit higher. So I would be a little bit more patient on your side. And what I'm going to do is the reason why thugs are, I don't want to say thugs are bad because thugs can be really good. But yeah, so I'd say at this point you kind of don't have enough units to make a good trading pattern, so your attack is kind of fizzled out. So you can be patient, right? Like the well has returned 30 power. So basically, as long as it's been what, like a minute and a half? So as long as you can like attack me before 3 minutes are up, you're still in a good position. And good, running away is good, exactly. If you... Oh, I'm going to interrupt you. Don't do that.
Damn, I didn't even think about it.
Oh, that's why I punish you.
I'm just not used to it. I don't know. I don't have the card knowledge.
Yeah. Well, if you get erupted 100 times, you'll figure it out. That's how I learned. We can try again.
I mean, it's not even the card knowledge. I know it's coming every time.
Yeah,
I just don't know how to spread my units out.
Yeah,
so I do it all by hand.
Yeah, and you have to do that against every color against fire, right? Nature can't clump up either. You gotta be careful of that eruption.
But I mean, do you guys do it all by hand, or like I use no keys? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I use the key for eruption. I have eruption anytime I have a deck with fire. Eruption is F1, and I've got that F1 ready. That's the only one I really do a key for.
But you use F and stuff like that.
Yeah, so the control setup that I use is I keep my keys on the WASD so I can move the camera around this way. And then I kind of click regularly. And then the hotkey I basically use is like a hotkey for eruption. And then players like Triggs are a lot better micro, use a bunch of hotkeys, but eruption, I feel like that's good enough for me. If I can eruption on time, then we're good. If I'm like a 1/10 of a second late on my archers, whatever.
But you click all your units individually and move them, or dragon, like dragon.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Select.
Yeah, I mean you guys can see my screen, right?
So you feel better because I just felt like I was the only one.
Yeah, I mean you can see my screen. You can see exactly what I'm clicking and when if you are trying to like manage your units and seeing what I do. Now a lot of it is
yeah, but I mean we don't know if you're hitting keys or not. Also.
Okay, well. Yeah, I mean if you see an eruption, well you can see if I don't click, I'm hitting a key, right?
Right. Yeah, so, I guess I see you clicking some of your cards here and there, but I guess I didn't know if you used other stuff too.
Nah, pretty much eruption. I
don't.
I start with the scavenger in F2, but that's like the only time I use the scavenger. The F2 is just so I got that.
I never used it. I never even used WASD.
Okay. Yeah, actually I picked that up by accident.
I knew about it, but I just don't ever use it.
Okay. Yeah, I used to play 100% by mouse. I just used the camera with my mouse. I'd click with my mouse. I didn't even use my left hand. And then
I mean, I see. Sometimes I do use my left, but I feel like I can't do it in PvP because it's just too fast paced.
Okay,
But
okay.
like in PvE, I use my 1, 2, and 3,
Uh-huh.
or on my mouse 1, 2, and 3 with my thumb,
Okay.
and use it to like for my shot. Like I take my shaman in a different category, and I
Gotcha, yeah.
take like certain units in certain categories, and I can micro them way easier that way. But it's
Yeah.
just so fast paced in PvP, you can't do that. I
Yeah,
feel like.
exactly. I mean, you Triggs can do it. I want to see Triggs.
Tricks can do anything, okay?
Yeah, I want to
Tricks
see
can't even make
Triggs
time to
give
play the
me
game.
a screen share so we can see like how he organizes his groups and stuff. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be, yeah,
Triggs
for
Triggs
sure.
always comments that he gives me I give him a heart attack every time he watches my stream and he sees me clicking everything. He's like, "Why are you clicking everything?"
So he does group his stuff up right, like different.
Yeah, he like and there's hotkeys to group
Yeah,
them, so he can like control one, I guess, is to group them in group one and stuff.
right.
So that's how he plays. But yeah,
Yeah,
I'm a
that's how I
simple
have
man.
mine set up. I have hotkeys set up to where I can control like one group, two group, three group.
Uh-huh.
But I just can't. I'm just not skilled enough to do it in
Mm.
PvP.
Yeah, I mean, you're new, right? So don't say you're not skilled enough. You're not skilled enough yet.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, good job making your units. Now you want to be a little cognizant when you come around the corner that I don't interrupt you. And you can be a little bit patient, right? You don't need to attack me so fast. So your
I'm
one
not
unit is
trying
there you
to.
go. He was a little bit farther ahead than your other units. And if you want, you can try and come around the corner on the top too. Get a little multi-front action going on. Now you're there you go. You do want to attack before super long because if the power gets too high, then eruptions become super valuable. And yeah, see your guys at the top. I'm gonna attack them, so you should definitely try and make something happen at the bottom. And I'm gonna erupt you.
See, I don't know how to make my units not go close when I have to move them all in. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know.
you gotta
There's
click them
nothing I can
individually.
do about that.
It's hard.
But then I'll never get them in there.
You
Like,
don't think so?
honestly, that's just, no. Like, I just don't. Like, maybe this game just ain't for me.
Oh,
Because I know for a fact I won't get them in there in time if I do them one by one. Like, I feel like I know for a fact when I watch your stream, I know I don't see you take your troops in one by one.
well, yeah. How about we'll leave. Let's invite
It's
Bird.
just I don't know how I get it. Like I don't know. I feel like I'm tripping now.
Yeah, let's watch me and Bird. Um, so this time let's have Bird take the +1, and I'll watch him. You just watch my screen, and you see how I'm clicking and where I'm
Yeah.
clicking to make sure I'm avoiding that eruption. Is Bird on stream? Is he AFK? Let's see.
See, I could though if I. Well, no, I could not even something like that. I couldn't
What's up?
because all my sun starters would be in one group anyway.
Oh, yeah. I don't with Fire. I don't worry about the groups. I just kind of click them one by one.
Well, I was just saying like, yeah, that's what I wouldn't probably be able to do them in groups of fire either. But I was saying more like, but didn't you when you just faced me? Didn't you have your groups in sets of twos?
Um,
When I took the well first and you rushed me, didn't you have your sun starters in groups of twos? Because that's why I erupted a group of them, but both of them didn't die.
oh yeah. I mean, I had two of them kind of close together, but that was just because I was lazy and I didn't spread them. Because I knew that.
I I,
Mhm.
I thought you ran them in like two at a time.
No.
I thought that's what it was.
Yeah. No, I just spawned a new one because I knew that if you erupted them, you would spend 75 power and you'd kill one unit, but the other unit would still be alive. So it was kind of like trading 75 power for 50 power. So that's why that eruption happened. Bird says he's going to the
And you
bathroom.
can't.
Mhm.
can't even check in here. Fuck. Yeah, I don't know.
You know, these things are hard. I don't want to say they're easy. I remember I must have played this situation we're talking about like 20 or 30 times against Radical X before I was able to do it. You know, it's hard. It's hard to avoid being erupted. It's hard to split your units. And you don't have to do it like first try, right? But I just feel like this is kind of the game plan is clear, right? I want you to get the game plan of like what you're trying to do with fire is make your Sunstriders, spread them out, and focus units. And if you can manage that, it's basically how well you manage that is how good you're going to be in the tier 1. And you know, that's okay if you're not super good at the beginning, but you can kind of, as long as you know what you're supposed to do, you can say like, well, I can do 50% of that, and so I don't think I could rush this because I'm not good enough yet. But you know, maybe you want to practice it, or maybe you think like, I don't want to try it, but maybe if he goes +2, then you are like, okay, +2 even with bad micro, I can rush this. How are you doing, by the way, Dylan? Where are you from? Hey, Wahoo Yoshi. I don't think I said hello to you before. All right, there we go. There's Bird. Alright, if we're all ready, then Dylan, if you can watch my stream, you should be able to see exactly what I'm clicking, and I'll try and verbalize what I'm thinking when I go for the rush. Oh. I almost played an eruption with the wrong hotkey. I've got my scavenger. Bird's going for the center. Play Sunstrider. I'll give Bird a second to grab the position, and I'll make a second Sunstrider. These guys are not pathing very well. There we go. I got a Sunstrider over here, one over there, got one back here. Bird's backing away. I think I'll focus here. Focus my guys at the bottom down here. And I'll make a one over there. Try and pull these guys back. And I want to try and focus 4 versus 1. He's made some thugs. I'm just going to focus those thugs down. My Sunstriders are not super well split, actually. And now I'm going to have to micro good around the thugs, which is not that easy. And actually, I think I didn't do a great job microing this. Oh, maybe I still got it. I'm gonna make sure I'm playing at my power limit. A little bit of misclick there for me. Get these guys out of the way. Alright, and so you can see it's not so easy. Bird actually defended that. Let's watch Bird go plus one. Let's watch Bird beat me +1.
But I still see what you're saying, though. You did better than I did.
Yeah, you can see I'm clicking each guy +1 and I'm trying to
He
avoid the
didn't
eruption.
get any erupt though.
Yeah, but it's still not that easy. But Bird is much better than I am, so let's watch him show us a clinical clinical attack. I think I mostly I think I should have just been more patient and played my units a little bit later. I was kind of lazy going into that attack. Alright, Bird's getting his units out ahead of time. We see some thugs. And yeah, you see Bird's doing a much better job of me already. And there we go. That's how to rush that +1.
I just don't think I'll ever be able. I just don't think I'm fast enough to do that.
Well, you're not fast enough
Maybe
yet,
my
but
hands. Maybe my hand speed just needs to get quicker.
yeah, I mean, it's just as long as you know what you're supposed to do, right? So I think that's the main points. You know, just the idea is to micro your Sunstriders, right? And just how well you do that is how well you can manage. And if you're if you don't think you can micro that well, I would recommend playing Fire Nature. Because Fire Nature is a deck where you can go tier 2 pretty fast, and then you get access to your heals and stuff.
I've never gotten tier 2, dude. That's a lie. I've gotten tier 2 a few times. So.
Yeah, I watched you get tier 2 in that last match. Well, you weren't playing Fire at that time. But yeah, alright. Dylan, do you want to have one game against one of us, or do you want to watch the two of us play and kind of see how we go with the tier 1? Maybe you should have a go. But you don't have to do that map. We can do a Howler.
Run against one of you guys.
What's that?
I said, yeah, I'll run against one of you guys.
Alright. Let's have you go against Bird, and I'll try and give you some coaching in real time.
Tell him not to. I guess it don't matter. He can play whatever.
Nah. Bird's gonna win.
Yeah.
He'd win even if I was playing where you're playing.
Well, I was just saying, cause like I'd rather practice against something other than fire if I'm playing.
Oh, you want to play against something that's not fire?
Right, but I mean, I don't really care because I'm gonna be put up against fire too. So
yeah, I think it's maybe good for you to play against fire, so you get kind of used to the eruptions. You know.
Right.
It's also one of the common, it's a common fight you'd have to have.
Yeah, fire and shadow are the two main ones that I see every day.
Oh, sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
I get some frost. I said that fire and shadow are the two main ones I get put up against. And
Yeah,
I
exactly.
get some frost.
And both of them, the way you play against them is, oh, he's gonna play shadow anyway. So against shadow, the main thing, you don't have to worry about eruptions, so you can group your units together, but you do need to be careful about the nasty surprise.
Yeah, I was gonna say the nasty surprise is just about the same thing as eruption.
Yeah, exactly. But you can see it coming, right? Because it has to come from a unit. So when you see he's running towards you with a full HP unit,
How you want me to play this? Just kill me.
Yeah, and you can take this first well. That is a safe well for you to take. And then you want to try and go more towards the center. You see the bird took a well also. So I'd play Sunstriders basically as soon as you can. So as soon as you hit 50 power, you take a Sunstrider. And then you want to kind of, as the birds played a first again, so you can kind of play another one. And you just want to make sure that you've got a little bit of spacing so that he can't run up a nasty surprise. So for example, if you put your scavenger in front of your, or you can spread like that, that's also good. Yeah, basically two patterns that work pretty well is group your Sunstriders and put your scavenger in front so he can't like run past you and nasty, or you can just kind of spread them so that if he comes towards you, you can get it. And bird took +1 well. You can rush that if you want to, or you can just play safe and take a well yourself.
Okay, I'm probably gonna take a well.
Yeah, take one in the back. Closer well distance is better for shadow because Forsaken are really strong. So
right.
You want to try and generally go for higher well distance, I'd say. Bird took another +1.
Rush it.
You want to rush it? I would vote rush it. You've got Sunders, right?
I'm asking you.
I think you should rush it. I think go ahead and wait a second. See what he plays, and when you've got 200 power, I'd go for 2 Sunders and just go straight on as well.
Okay. Everything straight on as well?
Yeah, well, you definitely want to hit his Dread Charger so he can't nasty you.
2 Sunderers. Okay.
Yeah, so your Sunders should go for the well, and then
he made more Forsaken. Yeah,
rest your units go focus on the Dread Charger, and then so he can't nasty, and then go for the well. All right, there's Sunder 1. He's got some Dread Chargers, so you want to be a little bit, avoid the nasty. The second one.
Choke point's killing me though.
Yeah, exactly. You can eruption if you really want to avoid the nasty. It looks like he didn't have power to nasty. Oh, there's the first one.
Yeah, there it comes.
Yeah, if your Sunstriders just focus the Dread Charger, you'll be fine.
He got me with the second one.
He got you. I think you're still getting the well though. Make sure to use the Sunder ability. There you go. You see, you still got the well. Now you got to be worried about the counterattack though. So I would make some thugs.
Yeah. Thugs?
Yeah, thugs and Sunstriders. And you want to engage him as soon as you can. You don't want him to get around your well, because when he gets around your well, he can frenzy like that, and then he can just focus the well and kick it in return. So yeah, if you would engage him in the choke point, you would have been.
Damn, that was quick.
Yeah,
too.
exactly. There's Shadow. That's why you want to fight Shadow far away from your wells, because if you get around the wells, he can just sacrifice his units and then kick your well in return. And Dread Chargers are good against thugs. So having nice eruption, or okay eruption.
Damn, I didn't know he was dazed. I thought he was just low.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah, so you want to play some Sunstriders, I'd say. Not dazed, play them at your well.
I don't have at my other well?
Yeah, your well up there, yeah. Because right now he can just nasty and kill the whole bunch.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. That's alright. Hey, you got a well from Bird before he got one of yours. That's a win in my book. And yeah, you can see in this situation, Bird can go like +2 because he is he's got a large
So
tempo
should I
advantage.
just go T2 off just when I get the... No, he's rushing me now. No, it just depends. If he don't rush me, should I just go tier 2 or what?
I would go
Because
tier
I
2,
feel like
yeah.
in this situation I'm stuck.
Yeah, you're stuck, right? So your choices are either try to make more Sunders and attack him again, or go tier 2. And you see he goes tier 2 back. And he's taking
But of
+2
course he's
wells.
watching stream too, so...
Yeah. You want to focus that Dread Charger before he nasties. There you go. The Eruption was not necessary.
I was hoping yeah, I was kind of thinking the Forsaken was kept walking up, but
Okay. Yeah, and you want to run away from this Forsaken because they're going to die anyway. So if you just like run away, you can keep your units alive, and he's not going to get anything.
Yeah.
The ability to run away is why you want to fight
know that.
away from your well against Shadow.
Okay, I see. So tier 2, what should I lay out?
You're playing Pure
Skyfire?
Fire, so this is a problem. Skyfire Drake is the best card you can play against Pure Shadow. So Skyfire Drake and maybe like 1 or 2 Enforcers. And he's basically going to stay for a Harvester, so you need to attack him before he gets a Harvester out. He's going to try Nasty Surprise. You want to focus that guy down before he nasties. Oh, he got it. Looks like he's going to try again. If you run with your Enforcers. Now, a Life Weaving, so you can probably just run away. Yeah, I'd just run away from the Life Weaving.
I wasn't, yeah.
And once it runs out, you can make some more Enforcers. But yeah, Enforcers do be Nightcrawlers, so you can play some Enforcers. He's playing some more Nightcrawlers, so at this point, Enforcers are a pretty good counter. Skyfire Drake is also pretty good, but you have to be worried about the Nasty Surprise. So Skyfire Drake is one of those cards you want to play, you know, when you got a kind of a control in the situation. Yeah, you're good. It's going to be kind of close on that well. You managed to save it for now. Oh, he's going to get that explosion. Yeah, that's going to take the well. Yeah, overall, you know, really not a bad showing. I think it's Bird, so you shouldn't expect to win. I didn't even win.
Do I take it back, or do I save for troops?
What's that?
Or do I just give up? Do I take the well back or save for troops?
Taking the well back, you're I mean, you're lost anyway.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Taking the well back is just like definitely lost. You're just going to give Bird power to make a Harvester. That's what he's waiting for. He's just waiting for a Harvester. So if you want to keep fighting, I'd play troops. And yeah, clumping them like that means that he's going to make a Nightcrawler and nasty against you. So you try to want to have like some Enforcers in the front. That way you can charge his Nightcrawler as soon as he makes it. Yeah, there you go. Oh, there's a Harvester. Oh, he nastied the Harvester. That was a pity move. That's not what he should have done.
But it kind of helped me.
Oh, he's got power for another Harvester. He's just flexing at this point.
Oh, yeah, it's over then. Yeah, he's just playing.
You've got a card called Burning Spears that are really good against Harvester.
Yeah, I got him.
Okay. And you want to disenchant that Life Weaving.
On what? On him?
Yeah, exactly. That's the card. Because Life Weaving is basically like plus 1,400 health. So, yeah. Fire can't really defend against Harvester, so that's kind of how how the game should be played, as Fire tries to bully Shadow before Shadow gets a Harvester out. And if Shadow gets some early wins like he had here, then there's not a lot you can do.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, good game. Like you you got a well against Bird. Bird was playing kind of intentionally greedy to bait that out, um, and yeah, I think if you played against some of those players against your level, you've been saying some replays. I think you'd do a little bit better. So um, all you got to do now is play against those guys and send us those replays, and we can kind of further refine our strategy. Well, yeah, thank you. Hope you had fun, Dylan. Thanks for joining us on stream. I know it's kind of embarrassing to be a new player and lose a bunch on stream, but you know,
It is
takes
what it is, man.
takes guts,
Gotta
takes
get better.
you know, you got to learn somehow, and learning is always a little painful in the beginning, but soon you'll be crushing people the way Bird crushes me. And
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
and yeah, thanks to Bird for joining
my
us on stream too.
figures.
And
Right
yeah,
there.
I need to head off. But if you and Bird want to play, you're totally welcome to. And Bird admits he's got voice if you want to join him on Discord. And Bird is a much better player than me, so he can coach you on fire way better than I can. So if you've got time to play
Alrighty,
tonight,
man.
maybe you two can play. But
Yeah.
stream for me is going to have to end. So once again, thank you, Dylan. Thank you, Bird. And thank you to the rest of the audience. And I do owe you some booster rewards, but I really have to go right now. So next stream.
Yep.
All right. Thank you all for watching.
Have a good one, man.